Today, I'd like to introduce a topic that almost all economic watchers of China have been discussing recently, a lecture by a certain individual. This individual, whose name in Japanese would be read as Fubo, is an economist. However, he is not a university professor but more of a financial analyst, you might say, someone from that kind of background. This phenomenon isn't unique to Japan, but most people providing economic insights on platforms like YouTube and other media are often analysts from securities companies or private research institutions. It's rare to find university professors actively sharing information. I'm not entirely sure why this is the case, but perhaps it's because people in the field, those trading daily or gathering and analyzing information directly tied to company profits, tend to provide more practical insights than academics, leading to a greater demand for their information. But I digress. This person, Fubo, is a private sector analyst, and he recently delivered a rather lengthy lecture, about an hour and a half, at a closed event hosted by HSBC. His lecture has garnered significant attention as it covered pressing issues in the Chinese economy, their causes, and possible solutions. What makes it noteworthy is that it didn't just address problems that most people would agree with but also proposed actionable steps to resolve them, which is where it gets truly interesting. I'd like to broadly summarize the flow of this lecture. Parts of it might also resonate with Japan, so I'd appreciate it if you could consider how these points might apply to Japan as well. To begin with, what's currently happening in China? Fubo introduced some very familiar examples. For instance, a milk tea that used to cost 20 yuan, specifically tapioca milk tea, is now being sold for 9.9 yuan. This pricing strategy, said to have been invented by Jewish merchants, makes 9.9 yuan appear cheaper than 10 yuan. In addition, promotions like buy one, get one free, known as mai yi song yi in Chinese, mean that a cup of milk tea, which was once 20 yuan, is effectively being sold for less than 5 yuan per cup. This reflects a situation where such drastic price reductions are necessary to make sales. Moreover, high-priced items are no longer being bought, instead, they're being rented. For example, Chanel bags, too expensive for most to purchase, can be rented for a single day to take photos with and upload them online. Such businesses are thriving in regions like Guizhou, where Chanel bags can be rented for 25 yuan, around 500 yen in Japanese currency, per day. Even in affluent areas like Guangzhou, known for being a prosperous part of China where people might buy second homes, businesses renting out Chanel bags are on the rise. While I personally don't understand the appeal of pretending to be wealthy, some people seem eager to project such an image. Other notable examples include the fact that over 500 beauty salons in Guangzhou were put up for sale in the first half of 2024. Guangzhou's beauty salons, akin to high-end establishments in places like Ginza in Japan, are finding it difficult to continue operating and are going up for sale in large numbers. Additionally, in larger purchases, a fierce price war is ongoing. For instance, BYD has been reported to demand that its dealers cut prices by 10%. The Chinese auto industry is experiencing unprecedented price competition, not to generate profits but to maintain market share and survive. This fierce competition has long been recognized and continues to intensify. The solar panel industry is another sector facing severe overproduction, with China's supply capability said to be more than 3 times global demand. With minimal differences in quality among manufacturers, price competition has left the industry severely strained. Export tax benefits for solar panels, like rebates, have been reduced to curb the overproduction. The overarching trend in China is intense competition across sectors, leading to price wars and shrinking corporate profits. This compresses wages or forces layoffs, leaving workers struggling as well. The economy shrinks as spending declines, creating a negative spiral. China faces dual problems: oversupply and insufficient demand. In some cases, like solar panels, oversupply is absolute. Even if every solar panel in the world were purchased, there would still be excess. In other cases, insufficient demand arises from a lack of consumer purchasing power, even though people want to buy. These two issues coexist in the Chinese economy, exacerbating its deflationary state. Moreover, local governments play a significant role in borrowing heavily for infrastructure development, despite diminishing returns. Infrastructure projects have become political vested interests, continuing despite limited economic benefits. This has led to mounting, unsustainable debt among local governments, who rely on borrowing even more to repay previous loans. Finally, as Fubo points out, these challenges are compounded by external pressures such as trade conflicts, particularly with the U.S., which hinders China's ability to offset domestic oversupply through exports. While these economic challenges are not entirely new, they paint a bleak picture of China's economy moving forward. Further complicating the situation is the looming issue of government debt and other structural problems. For those with an interest in China's economic future, these are critical points to consider.